Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And as you can see, we are in the blind tasting room. It's different than the other room. And I'm excited. The blind tastings have been going really well. People really enjoyed them a lot. I've enjoyed them. He-Man and Thundercats have enjoyed them. And there's really no reason to go away from them. And so that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to continue the absolute fun we have with these wines. And we are doing a 2005 blind Bordeaux tasting mod. As we've talked at nausea over the last 2 years in the Thunder Show, 2005 Bordeaux's are some of the greatest of all time. And I'm pretty darn excited about the wines we have in front of me here. We've got 4 different wines, different price points. Ian mixed them up, rolled the dice, and we're going to see what's going on here. Oh, I do need a pen, Mod. I'm sorry. Let's get me a pen because, oh, I got it, Mod. There's tons of trash around here. And you never know what you're going to find here. I mean, you might find a glass or the He-Man with the king, and that's always possible. You might find a Hulk Hogan mask, Mod. I mean, you really just don't know what you're going to find. I'll just help it here, but we did find a pen. I like making little notes. And without further ado, I guess we'll get right into it. Hope you're enjoying your December. I cannot believe we're about to party like it's 2009, Mott. I mean, it's getting pretty crazy. Wine number 1. See what's going on here? We brought out the big-ass glass, which we have not done in, gosh. What do you think, Mott?
At least 50 episodes.
Yeah, at least 50 episodes, right? It's been crazy. Great color on this first wine. What's great about the 05 vintage is that, you know, the wines are not only tremendous on the premium level, but they are on the low level as well. Just really interesting wines across the board. As we've been tasting these $12 to $25 wines, there's just so much stuff. I mean, between 20 and 30, there is just gorgeousness going on. So, highly recommend that. Love the Chateau Bresson La Reserve, which was our number 2 wine of the year, Mod. So there's a lot of action in Bordeaux 05. Let's give this wine a snippy snip. Now, right off the bat, you do get a little poopy action on the nose, a little manure coming through pretty heavily, actually. I do get some black currant as well, and a little bit of charcoal, believe it or not, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. But there's, I wish you saw Mott's face. There's some poop action in here, a little poopiness, a little earthiness, classic, you know, Burgundian type nose, really, more so than anything else on that side. But then you get really poopy, right?
Very strong.
Do you hate it?
It's not appealing.
Understood. It's a poop machine, my friends. It's pumping out the poop. It's a heavy dose of manure, earthy, sheep butt, cow action. You know, just a lot of that stuff going on. This is Farm City, Nebraska, USA at its finest. There's a little greenness coming through, a little moss. I wish I had Moss Man up here. It would have been perfect. There's a little moss component. I do get some black currant, but I'm telling you right now, this is dominated by that stuff. Let's give it a whirl. Good firm tannins, very bitter, dark chocolate on the mid palate, and extremely bone dry. Like, very, very dry. Like, really, at the end of the day, what does this taste like? It tastes like dried up hay in poop of pig. Yes, pig poop. I know because my dad had pigs when I was a junior in high school, and I had to shovel the crap. And I'm not even kidding, Mott. Because I refused to go to the store one day. I didn't want to work at the store because I, you know, got paid $2 an hour to scoop ice. I said, I'm not going. And Mom and Grandma gave me the guilt trip, so I went to the barn and scooped the poop of the pigs. And my friend, I'm telling you, that's what I'm getting here. A little Charlotte's Web action, a very dry hay graininess, mixed in with a manure component, earthy tones. There is no being shy about this, my friends. This is dirt mixed with animal crap and hay. And you know what? It's interesting. Do I love it? I don't hate it. as much as a lot of other people will. I think this has, Cabernet Franc type tendencies. Reminds me of really dry, dusty cellar dust flavors on the back end. This is one big beast. Real chocolate. I like it. Very firm, very tight, very herbaceous, very dry. Very good. Not bad. But boy, it smells like poop. Let's move on. I mean, you've got to really, really be able to wrap your head around. Guys, this is what wine's all about. I mean, there's different smells, different textures, different flavors. You want to mix it up. I remember when I first started tasting wines like that, a decade ago. I almost said or two. A decade ago, and I just couldn't get by it. I realized that it was important. But as my palate changed, as I got older, those kind of flavors really became much more ingrained into my palate. And I would eat, very outside the box foods through the years. And so I've really got into some of the poopy, dirty, kind of stuff. And I've been able to get through it and into it, actually. I'll give this one more big rinse. I mean, there's some, really want to make sure we get into the next one fairly. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. All right, this is different. Mott, this is more acceptable for your nose, I think. Much more conventional, but tight as a rock. I do get some beautiful red beet components, which come through right off the bat, which have me somewhat excited because you don't see that too often. I get a little tulip action. So normally we see lilacs and roses. I did a little refreshing course on some flowers in the last 10 days, and this is more of a tulip play on the nose. I also get some really nice cranberries, but this is globally a pretty tight wine. Tight as a rock. I mean, it's aromatically challenged. That's a problem. I don't like that. And it's just tight. Let's give it a whirl. Big wine, but very tight and very limited in its flavor profile. It's not really showing me much. It's got good density. I like the texture a lot. It's very silky, very smooth, but at the end of the day, it's very tight. This is unmanageable wine. I mean, this is like trying to deal with a rogue athlete. You can give them a lot of opportunities, but they're just not going to get it. That's kind of this wine. There's not much we can do here. At this point, this is a shutdown baby, and we've got to wait and let it open up like a Cabbage Patch Kid. It's going to take time. It's going to need to open up. This is very, very tight. Tight as a rock. Really bitter, firm tannins on the back end. I get a little blackberry, which I appreciate. And it's mixed in with a little bit of like a really nice raspberry jam. But I don't want to say jam because I've given you a set way how I refer to that. Just like bitter raspberries, big blackberries, but tight. Solid wine. Curious what price point this is. If it's in the $20 range, I'm not going to mind. But I don't love it either. So we're off to a very awkward start. I was worried that this show was going to be a 4 for 4 because I've really been enjoying the majority of 05 Bordeaux that have been coming across my table. And I was worried that, you're going to be like, oh, you're always on the 05 bandwagon, you big sellout. You love them. Why don't you kiss 2005? Why don't you make out a little tongue? Why don't you give 2005 Bordeaux tongue because you love them so much? I was worried that was going to happen. But so far, no tongue here, my friends. More like a punch to the groin. Let's move on. Wine number 3. Let's see what's going on here. Though I have been scoring them a little higher than I kind of give notes, I think I'm disappointed because I expect all of them to be so good. They're still solid wines, just this one was super tight and that one's just poop. Let's give this a sniffy sniff. We get into a little bit more of a poop play, but a little bit different than the last one. Mott, give us a little smell. This smells more like really interesting, like triple cream cheese. This has a very cheese component on the nose, doesn't it? Yeah. Not as poop as the last one, but you do get the earthiness, right? I mean, once again, a little earthy tone here. You get a lot of, be careful. Be careful, Mott. Be careful. There's some really beautiful underlining blueberry components now starting to dance and they're doing the, maybe they're doing the twist. They're doing a little twist because they're dancing a little here. I'm also starting to get a little cherry fruit. So this is starting to open up again. These wines have not been open very long. They're very youthful. They're really made to age over the next 5 to 25 to maybe 40 years. So we're totally opening these prematurely. But a lot of you continue to buy off of Parker previews or Spectator previews when they're even more premature than this. Keep that in mind. Let's give this a sniffy sniff. Little pine cone minty thing kind of coming on. This is starting to get a little more interesting. Let's give it a whirl. That was wild. Started off like silk perfume fruit, and then it got very rustic and dry, and has now become the driest wine of the bunch, though it started as silky as cough syrup. So it was just very ingraining and lubricating on the palate. But it got very dry, and I don't want to call it herbaceous, but tight and tannic on the back end, giving it almost a dark chocolate, bitter, high cocoa count component. And then got a little boring in the third quarter. It kind of took a snooze. Comes out a little strong on the finish. Very fascinating, complex wine. Let's move on. Wine number 4. Mott. Let's give it a little rinse. A little pour. Weird show so far. Let's give this a sniffy sniff. Hands down, the most exciting nose of the bunch. I'm going to get into it in a minute, but right off the bat I caught it. Mott, that's kind of what you're looking for. That's what the Mottster wants.
That's more my style.
Yeah, this is more everybody's style, Mott. This is gorgeous fruit flavors coming across on the nose. Just really beautiful, almost like a pepper. Almost like a pepper. There's like a candy cane component coming through on this nose, which I love. Yeah, like a candy cane on this. I also get really interesting dried raisins, which are quite nice. And a very intense kind of like prune juice flavor coming through. So I'm going candy cane, prune juice, and dried raisins, and I'm not joking. Very interesting nose, very hedonistic, very colorful, kind of like that one person in your crew that really is fashionable. One person in this crew that really is fashionable. This feels like it's from the right bank, maybe Merlot based. Could be wrong. Let's give it a whirl. This is what I'm a little bit more accustomed to coming from this vintage. Really heavy dosage of pure fruit, jamminess. Over the top, yes, but much more old world in its approach. Again, very dry. Great. Ooh, this wine's... This is really textbook deliciousness, my friends. I don't know what this is, but I'm buying it. This is classic Bordeaux. Dark chocolate, cedar, great cedar box component, right? You know what I mean? Wood, but not too much, not over oaked. Great, beautiful fruit. Little cinnamon sprinkled on top. Great mid palate. Redonkulously long finish, 40 to 75 seconds. Still tasting it. Great bold tannins. Tells you can drink it now with maybe 4 or 5 hours decanting. Definitely in the next 3 to 5 year window, it's going to be showing well, but has the backbone, complexity, structure, ability, presence, state of mind to last for 40 plus years. This wine completely knocks me off my socks. Caught me, it took me down a notch even, and completely rocked the house, and there is really no close second on this bunch. And I'm going to retaste wine number 1 if you don't mind. If you allow me the pleasure. I just want to retaste wine number 1. But boy, wine number 4 is just absolutely heaven. Great, great bottle of wine. Loved it. Super curious to see what it is. Let's give this a sniffy sniff. Poop coming away a little bit. Yeah, number 1's a little bit of a better. I can taste number 1's pedigree a little bit now, and I knew I liked it. I just wanted to make sure. I think I got into all that poop with you guys and decided to, and kind of lost track of how good it was. What really makes number 1 so good is really its laser-like focus of blackcurrant, blackberry flavors. It's really showing well, and I think it's going to do quite well over time. Okay, Mott, let's do this as I continue to move bottles around. In last place, with a score of 86 plus to 88 points, let's go 87 to make it easy for SS. I'm guessing between $20 and $30 is Chateau Brown from the Paysac, from the Grave, 55 Cab, 40 Merlot, and 5 Petit Verdot, which is great. I like. 90 points Wine Spectator, 24 US dollars. So I nailed the range pretty well, Mott. I'm going to say 20, 30. And, you know, Spectator's 3 points higher than me on it. I just didn't love it. You know, it just didn't really... Nice catch, Mott. Well, you had one hand. It's not that easy. You're a Giants fan. Yeah, I mean, I think Spectator's slightly overrated from my point of view. But, you know, yeah, I just didn't love it. All right. Wine number 3 comes in 3rd place with a score of 88 plus, and I'm going $20 on this. All right, Chateau de Comensac from Haut Medoc, which is a 5th growth. What did I go with that point? What did I score that? 88. 88. 87 to 88 Parker, $22. Man, these are starting to really get... I'm going to really need a bad one eventually so I can get, like, you know, humbled. So, I mean, people are going to start thinking we're rigging this. Not bad. I kind of agree with Parker completely. Nothing else to say. Wine number 1, I scored 91 points, and I'm guessing 50 US dollars. Chateau La Cuspade, 2005, Saint-Emilion Grand Cru, 92 points Parker, $69, 75% Merlot, 15 Cab Franc, 10% Cabernet Sauvignon. Very poopy, but as you can see, I kind of came back to it. There was something clearly there. Good job by Ian putting the first wine as a $60 wine. Did you see what he did there? He tried to, and nice job by him, and I think I did a decent job. 50 bucks, 69, and 91. Parker went 92. All this doesn't really matter. It's just an interesting kind of fun playing with myself. Would you allow me to play with myself? Good job by La Cuspade. Wouldn't have really guessed that it was that much Merlot. Would have thought that 15% Cab Franc can give you that Cab Franc stuff. That's where that earthiness coming through. And finally, at 95 plus points, the wine that completely rocked me off my shoes. I'm guessing 80 US dollars is... This is really good. I get humbled. Mott. 80 US dollars. Come on, Mott. Hold on, Mott. Look at that. 80 US dollars. 80. You gotta give me it, Mott! Thank you. And it's right bank. I said it would be. It's a Pomerol. But Parker only went 92 points on this, and I totally disagree with him. 85% Merlot, 15 Cab Franc, my kind of wine. You know I want to bring Merlot back, and you know how much I think about Cab Franc. I went 95 plus on this. I think Parker completely missed the boat. That's not fair. He gave it 92. He liked it. 80 bones? You need to buy this for somebody. Find it in your local area. It's probably 80 now. It might have been cheaper on Futures. I don't really remember. This wine completely brings the thunder. Stole the show. It should have, price-wise, though. La Cuspade was pretty close. I didn't even say the name. La Clemence, 2005, Pomerol. I mean, I don't clap it up often. This wine ripped the house down. for all the people that are going to buy people gifts of like Silver Oak and Opus 1 and Camus this holiday season, you need to recognize real quick and see if you can find this bottle. Crusher, a killer, kudos, 95 plus. Started with 93, then I went to 95 plus. It ripped it. I would recommend this to buy for sure. I would not recommend probably this to buy. Probably wouldn't really recommend the others. But this one, unfortunately, it's pricey. Economy's a little softer, so I get it. But a lot of fun to do this show. My question today is, what 2005 Bordeaux did you buy? I think that's a pretty awesome question. Mott, you might need to drink a little bit of this. You, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world.